welcome back to Agenda. We're coming to you from King's College London, and the audience is of the India Institute over here, and many of them have questions for the panel. Yeah, what's your question?
Hi. Well, I of course welcome Prime Minister Modi's engagement with foreign policy much more than the previous governments. But with all the news coming now from India with regard of communal tensions, especially now in the Bihar elections, crackdown on civil society, I'm thinking of Greenpeace India, for example, that's not healthy for India's soft power.
Okay, Vijay, do you want to respond to that?
See, Greenpeace is a very unique case. They have broken the law. They have not followed a lot of rules and regulation under which they got the funding, and they are facing the heat. But it doesn't mean India is as vibrant a democracy as ever. People are free to express. There is a lot of debate going on intolerance. That itself shows that there is a lot of democratic norms are going on, and there is a free press. There is a very vibrant media like NDTV, who are not exactly our supporters. That's a compliment. That's a compliment. We need a very vibrant media, and we have a very independent judiciary, who is a watchdog. We have a very unique system of what is called as PIL, public interest litigation, where anyone can go to court for anything which is related to public. The judges themselves, they can pick up some suo motu issues which are of social interest.
I think what he means to say, I mean, just to add to his question, is that something that is coming at this time when there is a lot of criticism and the Guardian articles and all of that? Is that something that's playing on the Prime Minister's mind?
No, I think, see, there is a section in Indian intelligentsia whose bread and butter is on opposing the right-wing people like us. And we welcome them. They are earning their bread and butter by opposing us. We welcome it.
Next question, yeah. Go ahead, yeah.
I wanted to ask how Prime Minister Modi is going to use this visit to canvass support for India's candidature for the United Nations, or to approach the issue of Kashmir, which has been in the news recently. How does India expect UK to help us on that?
Well, we think that it is our legitimate right to be a permanent member of Security Council, not only because of our numerical strength, but also our economic power and our democratic dividend which we have currently.
Right, and it's something that the Foreign Secretary also said will come up. Do you think
I agree, and I think that that will come up. And you would have seen in the Conservative manifesto in the election, it was actually mentioned that an aim that we had was to support India's place on the Security Council. So I very much hope we can make progress on that issue. I think India deserves a place.
Excellent. Yeah, your question.
Well, my question, I would like to ask the panelists, essentially, as you know, Chinese President Xi Jinping came about a month ago here. So how do you think the atmosphere between the two kind of visits compares? Do you think there is some type of competition, or do you think there will be some difference in the atmosphere?
Our Prime Minister also got it, yeah.
Well, they're both very important countries. They're both fast-growing powers. But, what I'd say is I don't think the Chinese Premier managed to pack Wembley Stadium with 70,000 people. And, this is one of the largest Indian diasporas anywhere in the world is here. It's the largest minority group in the UK. So I think it is a slightly different visit because of that. I think that aspect does make it different and gives it some extra flavour and excitement.
I was also told that Prince Charles is having a separate meeting with him the day after. Why is that? I mean, and he actually stayed away from the Chinese visit when they came to Buckingham Palace. So, what should we read into that?
I probably wouldn't read too much into it. Honestly, look, he's having lunch and going to Buckingham Palace, and that's the important thing. And I think the royal visits, I'm not sure of the details either for the Chinese or for this visit. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it depends on their schedules and where they are at any given time. But look, he's going to Buckingham Palace, and he's having an overnight stay in Chequers at the Prime Minister's house.
Does that happen a lot?
No, that does not happen a lot. That is quite an intimate thing.
And waking up to doing yoga, I believe.
Oh,
really?
Well, there we go. So
the Prime Minister will go to yoga,
Yeah.
and I think the hope of many of sort of. Well, I mean, he's going to get up to doing yoga, but I think the hope of many in the British institution is that Cameron does not follow suit. I believe he's not as flexible as Modi is. But just to come back to one point in terms of looking at Kashmir, those issues, I don't think this visit is about Pakistan. It's not about Kashmir. they're going to talk about terrorism, they're going to talk about the rise of the Islamic State, they're going to talk about the Middle East. But
about Sikh groups.
about Sikh groups, there's a large Khalistan movement. I'm sure there'll be a demonstration one of these days. But Kashmir is a big issue in this country because it is also about diasporas.
Yeah.
There's a large Mirpuri, sort of the 670,000 Mirpuris from Pakistan administered Kashmir who live here. So that can't be sort of brushed under the carpet. But I don't think this visit is about those substantial issues.
Okay, great. One last question. Yeah, sorry.
I think Indo-British relationship has gone much beyond the context of Pakistan. We should not even consider that as a main issue here.
Okay. Yeah. Last question.
My question is in regard to, is India choosing to buy French fighter jets an issue for the future of the Indo-British cooperation in the defense field? Thank you.
Yeah. Do you want to...
Well, I don't think it's an issue. I'd love them to buy more British fighter planes. And I think they are. Look, we'll hear about it in the next few days. But I think there's an expectation that there will be some announcement of deals in the aerospace and defence sector. So look, we look forward to that. Hopefully tomorrow.
And just to say is that, I think here the issue is with the French, right? Because the French can only produce 36 of those planes that they're giving India. But I think the big one in Britain is to try and inquire about aircraft carriers, defense production. And that's certainly a big space. India's a massive market.
Okay, so I think what this discussion has kind of established is the amount, kind of speculation about what's going to happen, a lot of debate as well. And so that's what we're going to focus on for the next 2 days. Agenda is going to be coming to you from London. Thanks for watching. That's it for today. Goodbye.